Yeah.
All right, let's clap it up.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 84 of the Five Aside Podcast. Today we are joined by
Seb.
special guest.
Rich too?
Yes, sir. Coming up for our guest. Icon. We got a lot to talk about because we just talked about World Cup posters. Gabriel here.
Kendrick.
All right, Rich, introduce yourself. Give everybody a little explanation of who you are, and we're going to get straight into it.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to be here.
You got to put this in your hands,
Oh,
man.
yeah, there we go. There she is. So I designed the 2026 World Cup FIFA poster for New York and New Jersey.
Clap it up for that. Let's go.
What is that?
Semifinals and final will be
And
played.
finals.
Of course, it had to be local to us. You know the vibes.
Yes, over at MetLife, or they're calling New York, New Jersey Stadium. And so I designed the poster, and also I'm a creative director, artist, designer. I actually have a studio like right around the corner from here called Sunday Afternoon. Shout out to my family over there.
Fire.
And we work on a lot of different projects. We represent a lot of artists and designers, photographers, directors, and on top of having a creative studio, we work with a lot of different types of projects, clients.
That's awesome.
Also a bunch of crazy shit.
I got to ask, where does doing the World Cup final and semifinal location poster rank among all your projects? Because this is pretty insane. This is the biggest sporting event in the entire world. This is where the semis and the final will take place.
Yeah.
This will be a forever iconic moment in history.
Yes.
Quite literally, when I say that.
Yes.
And did you realize that it would be as like when
Like
did
the
it
level.
hit you how iconic
This is serious, bro. This is not a joke. Like, this is real.
Like when I first got the call, I got the call in January of earlier this year, like right after New Year's, and it was an email from FIFA, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to do the poster?" And you know when you get one of those emails or you get one of those messages or texts or whatever, and then you think like, "Is this real? Is this real life?"
Yeah.
That started to like hit me, but then after that, it was just like right to work.
Yep.
Let's talk
Yeah,
about like what we
of
got to
course.
do, yada yada. And then I really it kind of just sat in the back of my mind. I was like, oh yeah, I'm working on this poster thing, like on top of like all the other clients
Right,
and
of
all the
course.
other type of work. And then like I know we're talking off mic, but a couple of weeks before they premiered the poster over at Poster House that you guys were at too, and it was like a wild thing. Then the team at FIFA and also the host committee, they were like, oh, we're gonna do we pacings here. We're gonna put it in Times Square. We're gonna put it in Poster House, which I'm a fan of, obviously, and all over New York City. And then it just really started to hit me like, oh wow, this is the World Cup, not like the neighborhood cup, not the cul-de-sac cup or whatever.
The whole Earth Cup.
The Earth Cup for real.
That's a great name.
Yeah, and the finals are here.
Yeah.
So, you're thinking, well, one, I'm thinking, okay, I hope people like it because, football fans are wild.
Very.
And I could get flamed in the comments, whatever. Who knows? Because you really don't know.
That's true.
Really don't know. And also, when we were talking, I saw all the other posters. I got a preview of all of them right before. And I was like, oh, wow, I have to live up to this in some capacity.
all the other city posters?
All the other city posters.
So they had already been done. So yours was last?
They were in like a state of being done.
Got you.
So they were in the middle of some sort of process.
Got you.
And we already had like, this was like the second meeting or so. So I had sketches out, but they were just like kind of showing the work. And I was like, oh, wow. Like I felt like we were a little bit late to the table, but that's okay because New York just does New York in the way that we do.
You know the vibes.
Fashionably late.
Fashionably late, exactly. And then, it was the pressure felt real for a second. But then after it was revealed and people were digging it, then I was like, oh, wow, thank God,
Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. I'd love to hear just more about like your, I guess, design journey in general, because obviously people will see this and they'll see you, but for people who are just interested in design and art and kind of that world, like I think it'd be good for folks to just hear about your journey.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, and also this probably at least one or two ranked best things I think I've ever done. So to answer your
Okay, amazing.
question.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
least one or
Absolutely.
two.
It got to be at least that.
At least that, right? Who knows? Career is long. Life is too long.
Yeah, just to start.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. So I started, I think I'm entering my 20th year as a professional creative.
Wow.
In some capacity.
Congratulations.
Thank
congrats.
you. I'm older than I look.
Okay.
So
Good skin routine, you know what I'm saying?
Yo,
Shout out if you meant nothing.
Exactly. exfoliation. Shout out to that. I started as an editorial illustrator doing a lot of work for like the New York Times and the New Yorker and Business Week. And this was my first published illustration was back in 2005, 2006 for the New York Times. In the book review. And like, there are very small spot illustrations. Like you can still, see spot illustrations in the New York Times in the book review now when you pick up one of the Sunday editions. And also, I remember my first other publication was in Swindle Magazine, which is an old magazine now. But Shepard Fairey used to own that. It was a West Coast-based magazine. Cool. And they used to do these hardcover editions of it. It's like a $15 magazine or something, like a premium edition. And the first one that I was in had a Banksy cover. Before Banksy was like, when we all knew who Banksy was, before we all knew who Banksy was. Sure, yeah. And then after that, I was off to the races. I got my undergrad degree at Rutgers in communication and psychology. And then I got my master's degree in illustration from the School of Visual Arts, where I'm also a teacher there now.
Amazing.
And
full circle.
Full circle. And then after that, I kind of just cut my way through design and advertising, a bit more like, learning on the job through like, a bunch of agencies here in New York, like Mad Men era style agencies. Oh, yeah. And then I was actually an art director on Broadway, not like in Broadway theaters, but like in an agency that specialized in Broadway and entertainment campaigns. I did that for a couple of years, and then I got recruited to Nike. So I worked at Nike in Beaverton, Oregon for about a couple of years.
The Nike, at Nike.
Yeah, Oregon, the big
Beaverton, Oregon.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Where the Ducks play. You get it.
Exactly. Oh, man, so much ducks. Like, ducks everywhere. And so I was there for a couple of years doing graphic design for footwear. I designed some sneakers, which is kind of cool. Designed some LeBrons. Cool. Designed some, some KDs. Designed some, kid foam posits, which is kind of cool.
That's crazy.
Came back to New York. I worked at MTV for about 5 to 6 years. I was a vice president of brand creative there.
Sick.
Wow. Really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah. And Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
Beautiful.
That's a decorated career.
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't even know where to go within all those different ones. I was going to ask, though, how has technology impacted your job through these last 20 years? I feel like it's got to be crazy.
Wow.
What a question.
And how do you feel about it?
Yeah,
How do I feel about it?
And not just so far, but the future, too, because it's getting crazy with AI.
It is. Oh, yeah. Well, when I first started, there was this big push against digital software, like essentially Adobe, right?
Yeah.
So Adobe, like Photoshop, Illustrator, we all know, right? So, and they're this big monolithic multi-billion-dollar brand now. So there was kind of this resistance against new tools. Yeah. But my take has always been, understand the tools in order to get access, in order to build, and then and also the world is not going to wait for you to change, so the world will change for you.
That's a fact.
So you just have to like really, learn more and just kind of like understand. So now we're in this new shift with AI, and I've embraced it, to be quite honest, in ways that like. I want to say also there was no AI involved.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's make it very clear.
No AI involved in that poster.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
That's all my hand. But in terms of like, prototyping and also kind of like getting out of like these like fixed positions and kind of like, rough sketches of like just loose ideas. And I'm not even talking about drawings. I'm more just ideas. Like I'm a big proponent of writing down things in like my notes app. And I'm always writing down like things of like this plus this equals this. Or what if this person's head plus someone's, I don't know, someone's spinal column plus this, like it's weird stuff, like where you're just trying to build these little equations. Right. And AI kind of helps get past these little sticking points. So I've kind of fully embraced it. And, if you haven't, I will honestly say that if you claim that you haven't publicly, it's very likely that you have.
There you go. That's very, very interesting. That's fair. And what do you see about the future of it? Because this is just the beginning of what it can be used for.
Yeah.
How do you feel about just how crazy that it can possibly be.
Oh, it can get so crazy.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my old professors at SVA, who's now a vice president of design over at Adobe. And, Adobe is one of the leaders in, I think, like AI creative models and large learning, large language models, right? When it comes to programs like, let's say, Premiere, which the show is probably edited in, you know what I'm saying? Or Photoshop, Illustrator, all that stuff. We were talking about the possibility of there being an AI bot that's trained according to your taste and also according to your creative sensibilities. And, even to put this show together, it takes experts and technicians at certain parts of the pipeline in order to assemble, in order to get you the final product, right?
Yeah.
So imagine being able to just talk to an AI bot that will take your asset and then travel it through the creative suite in order to get you that final output. So it's like, okay, AI bot, we're going to record now, set record, or move this camera here, move this camera there. Take these assets, move it in Premiere, change the audio to this, clean this up. It's like now
fully controlled,
automated, and look, it's all at our fingertips. So I think that that's right around the corner, and it's going to be a subscription model because everything's a subscription model.
Everything, man.
Exactly. So what I really believe is that really taste matters, and also preferences matter, and the cream always rises to the top. So it's knowing exactly like what your goal is and how you're putting something together and like what you're really trying to achieve is since the beginning of all creativity.
100%.
Yeah.
The what you said is really interesting. Like the idea that AI could like learn your idea of creativity and like learn your preferences and then like do that for, like, we talk all the time about how like we're like hesitant to like outsource like editing our videos because like we have a certain taste that we go for. We have certain like that moment where you want to catch somebody's reaction or like that moment that'll be good to clip that video in. And the idea that like AI would be able to kind of encapsulate your like imagination is insane. Like that's scary.
We did start using it though. So there is this, it's called Opus Clip. So you can put like an hour and a half, 2 hour, however long amount of footage or YouTube episode. And from there it starts generating like 20, 30 social clips. And then it ranks them based on hook, timing, effectiveness, and how they think a person would react to it. And then they can do both like split screen, single. Now it's not nearly
was funny.
It's not nearly to our level in terms of but I think for some of it can get us 70% of the way and save some time.
Because it's a rough idea.
So like 60%. If he has a really good monologue where he says something crazy, which is very normal for him, it'll catch that, grab the raw footage already vertical from the horizontal, and then we can work from there. So it hasn't gotten to the point where it can really create our ideas, but it is like, it's getting there. It helps. It actually helps. It saves some time too. And even just giving you an idea of like, I forgot we talked about this. That is a good little moment. So
that's incredible.
And kind of getting like a reviewer on your footage from an AI that thinks about maybe these could work. And then we can even edit it from there. So
I was at an event a couple of years ago. They were testing out like new editing AI tools kind of at that point. And I saw this one that was specifically geared towards reality television. So you know a show like Big Brother, right? Big Brother, or
there's so much footage. Love Island too.
Love Island, exactly. So much like security cam footage where some poor PA or some poor producer has to go through all of it.
Think about that.
Write down the
notes and the timestamps.
Timestamp the whole thing. So this program, I'm forgetting the name, slipping on me, but it analyzed all the footage and then it gave you the timestamps and gave you producer's notes. Said what happened. And then also if you fed it clips like from like more active moments, it could build a narrative for you if you wanted it to, and also build like social packages. And it was like, again, it wasn't the most pristine like type of edit, but in terms of just like
starting point,
general ideas. They used this one example. It was Below Deck, the Bravo show. It was like of all the people on the ship. And we saw it in real time. We're like, this is building an episode of TV in front of us.
That's crazy.
Black Mirror, bro.
Okay, this is the good side of it.
For now.
Exactly. It's true. It's only the starting point.
Okay, so we spoke about the future a little bit.
Yes.
In terms of your past, in terms of getting into all of this world, what do you think from your life and kind of your upbringing has influenced you in terms of someone that's from this area to create what is in front of us right here?
That's a great question.
Yeah. It goes back to, I guess one of the first calls I had with FIFA, they were like, hey, Rich, we love your work. And also we know that you're from New Jersey and that you live in New York. And I was like, oh, weird that you know that. But
they know everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to the Black Mirror.
Exactly. FIFA sees everything.
Yes, they do.
They do. And they said like, well, that makes you a great candidate to do this poster. So I was like, oh, wow, that's very true because this is the only region that has to share 2 states, essentially, right?
It is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, really interesting dynamic. I think the only other poster artist is the artist that did the Mexico posters.
Yeah.
They got to do 3 separate cities.
Oh, okay.
Guadalajara, Monterrey, Mexico City.
Yes, exactly. And those all look so beautiful.
Yes.
It kind of it hits my designer's eye in a real specific way.
Especially the Guadalajara one is incredible.
Oh my gosh, so ornate and like the colors are so crisp. I love it. Like love that like vector illustration style. So so they kind of told me like, hey, that's the criteria. Like, and it kind of in a nutshell, that kind of makes you a good candidate. And like after that, it was really a lot of my upbringing as a first gen Filipino immigrant. Kind of repping it on the hat.
Yeah, I was looking at it the whole time.
Yeah, I got this from one of the Heritage Nights over at MSG because like the Filipino Heritage Nights, one of the biggest Heritage Nights. Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to Jalen Brunson.
Knicks and 5, baby.
Exactly. Knicks and 5. Let's go, baby. I right before total sidebar, right before they started or they left for Boston on the road, I was at a restaurant. I saw Jalen Brunson like at a table as I was walking by. And I just would have ignored him because he just kind of like an unassuming dude.
Yeah, I've met him before.
Oh, really?
And in the photo, I feel like I look more like the star than him. He's such a regular dude.
Such a regular guy.
Dude.
My girlfriend was like, yo,
and he's
that's
only like
Jalen
6 feet
Brunson.
tall too.
Yeah.
He's like the shortest on the court.
Exactly. Like he was just sitting at the table, like his posture all like kind of like looking on his phone. I was like, I never would have noticed. I'm like, this guy's like this
giving you 39, 25 in the fourth quarter.
For real. It's like, yo, Mr. Clutch right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of the upbringing, so going back to the poster, a lot of like my culture, I kind of included like these little references to Sampaguita flower, which is like the national flower of the Philippines.
So super dope.
Kind of like as like this connective tissue in the piece, and then also like even like just kind of the broader references like the floral patterns for the Garden State because I love Jersey. Even the dice for Atlantic City, even though like that's kind of like an interesting point in the comments.
Yeah.
People are like, yo, why Atlantic City? I'm like, because I like Atlantic City.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, because it's dope. Like, what's the problem?
It's a fun place.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like all the other little pieces, like even the pizza and also the colors. Orange was a big part of it too, because orange is such an iconic, New York sports color. Yep. But also I grew up in South Orange, so there's like an interesting, dual meaning there that you wouldn't even know unless you had seen it.
Yep.
And also something I love about soccer and football is like it's really about the world and the globe. So the soccer ball in the center of it's meant to be this patchwork soccer ball that's like the global community coming together in the Statue of Liberty flame. Right. And even the Statue of Liberty is like even the kind of this first thing that you see or you think of as an immigrant coming to New York and coming to America. It's like what the best part of this country can be. So you're really I get a lot of feels when I think about like a lot of the ideas behind it.
Can I ask why did you the layering on the Statue of Liberty's hand, like the segments of it, is that also another detail? Could you mind like sharing the thought process behind that? Oh,
sure. Like that's kind of like a stylistic a style of drawing that I started doing, I think maybe 15 years ago now. And that's because like I started as an illustrator, and when you're doing like these live drawing classes, you start to learn this idea of a single line to indicate form, where like this is drawing exercise of like you just draw like exactly what's in front of you, but you just don't pick up your pencil. And my dad is an architect, so he would also draw like that because that's how they taught him how to draw in the Philippines in architectural school. So it kind of was reinforced in me. And then I kind of just stylistically started to take cues from that of like, well, what if I just really started to embrace like the totality of the form and started to really get in the details of it. So that was an indicator of like, you know, the 3 dimensions of the form, even though it's in like flat 2D space.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the hand is essentially a continuous line almost?
It's all a connected line, but it wasn't drawn like a continuous line. But it's but it's my style of drawing started as a continuous line.
Wow. In terms of your Filipino heritage, how much of that influenced you as an artist? And I understand the Sampaguita flowers are in there as well. Is there anything else that we might be missing from your Filipino heritage in this? Is there anything that you'd want to shout out that influenced you to create this?
Probably, you know, it's really an energy thing. It's an energy thing. It's like a boldness thing, a loudness thing. Something that's very popular in Filipino design, I would say, and like not my sensibility is always about that, but there's just one of those few canvases and few opportunities where I can do that on a large scale.
Right.
You know, most of my work is very straightforward, problem-solving kind of clientele stuff. Like we're doing a big project with Hoka right now. Yeah, so like that's all just running, right?
Yeah.
But it's a lot of Filipino design and also apparel is like very pattern-based. I kind of like a very fine patterns, especially things that have to breathe. So like even on the corners, there are these kind of soccer net and style patterns, but that also just feels very intrinsically Filipino to me because you think you ever go out to Southeast Asia, it's like 100 degrees on a Tuesday afternoon.
And humid, right?
It's humid. It's like, so like when I go home, like I just want to step out to get something. I'm just like, I can't do this. This is a lot. So, you know, like I always think about the breathability and like, you know, the things that people just wear. So a lot of that pattern is like kind of like it just evocative of that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have like gotten that until you said it, but now I feel like I appreciate even more like all like the amount of lines that you fit into the image, like on the ball, on the leaves, on this thing in the corner, on the statue, on the hand, on the thing that they're holding, like the amount of line work in general. Like I didn't notice it at first, but now I have like a newfound appreciation for it. So yeah, that's amazing.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, I think it gets better with time. And I actually like looking at it from like the smaller view too. Just staring at it now, I'm already seeing like I didn't see the soccer cleat before. And we were at the launch event, staring at the whole time talking. I have that in my house too. I just noticed, I think there's like just continuously more discovery as you look into it, which I think is a really cool piece of history, honestly.
Yeah. You should be proud. Like, this is history that you've created, genuinely.
Absolutely. No, I think about it a lot, you know? Like when you Google like FIFA World Cup poster and you see like all these posters throughout time. Yeah. Like one of my favorite ones is the 1970 Lance Wyman designed one. He
Can you describe it?
Is this Mexico? I think this
Mexico,
is Mexico.
1970. It's dark blue, black outline, soccer ball. Mexico, I think in a 2-line stroke at the bottom of the poster frame.
Got you.
Simple sans serif. There we go. It is that one. Yeah.
Got you.
So orange, not blue. I guess they did in different colors.
I think they did in different colors.
Yeah.
I
It's like
remember
so graphic
one.
and clean, you know?
Got you.
My favorite one from the past, I think it was Spain had Miro design it. Let me find that real quick.
Mine
another animal.
And 2002
mine
was
was
incredible.
Korea and Japan.
Yeah. So this was 1982. Unbelievable. To actually have Miro design it too. And then 2002 was, I think, my other favorite. I'll find that real quick.
Yeah, what was the 2002?
Japan and South Korea.
Yeah.
They had a super, super cool one.
The paintbrush strokes.
Yeah, let me see.
While they look for that, what's your favorite detail in the poster that you got to add? And is there an Easter egg that you put in that you can't tell us about, but it's in there?
Oh, wow. What a good question. Yeah. No one's asked me that question of...
Because I know designers tend to put they'll put one thing that no one else will notice.
Yeah. It's not like, it's a very obvious detail, but one that I think is like kind of, that I'm glad that no one said no to. It's the fingernails. There's something like very like, I don't know. It's so very body oriented, and it feels very personal.
Yeah,
to add fingernails.
Yeah, to add fingernails. So it's like it's a purposeful decision. That I'm like, sometimes people feel a certain way about it, which also I like reactions like that, but no one was like.
It does feel more alive the more that it's really Lady Liberty holding that torch.
And it also feels like a little bit like fingernail paint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is definitely, which has been like a point of discussion on the internet and whatnot.
Have they really? Have they said that?
Yeah, I feel like
you mean in general, not
for sure.
And in sports, like all the basketball players who have been like painting their fingernails and like all the discussion.
Yeah, especially basketball and American football. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's been a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful. This is 2002, Japan, South Korea.
Yes.
It almost has some similarities to the Miro one in terms of the strokes. I would say.
Yeah. It's like kind of like a splashy energy.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned history because we actually did a review of all the previous World Cup posters. And so now it's awesome to have the actual person who's done the most recent one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you'd want to shout out? Anything else that we might be missing from this story that's important for you to tell?
Or your story.
Yeah. Oh, what I really think about is it goes back to the history. I've always felt, especially in the past 3 weeks, like very humbled and very grateful to have been able to tell this story. And, I think that there's going to be a lot of designers that are going to do this later on and to just be put into that pantheon, like that's a weird word to say.
It's true.
Like,
no, it's true. Yeah.
But to be put on like that shelf, so to speak, it's really trippy. I remember when we were at Poster House, and then they had the screens of all the posters historically.
Yeah.
That's when it really started to hit me like, oh wow. Like this is kind of sitting on that same shelf. So all I really want to say is just like, so grateful, super, happy to collaborate with FIFA. So nice over there. Like Daniel over at FIFA, the creative director, so dope. Carly, Carly's my ride or die.
Shout out Carly. We know Carly.
Shout out Carly. Oh, Carly's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, so dope. Like we became like genuine friends. You know what I mean? Like doesn't always happen when you're working with clients. So shout out to Carly. Shout out to Bettina. Like they were amazing working on this. So
before you go, I want to ask you one last question. If you had to put this World Cup poster that you created for New York and New Jersey into a couple words, what would be the words that you'd use to like kind of describe them? Like what are the key words that either you like started off with or what are the words that you would use now to describe it? Either or.
Oh, sure.
That's a good question.
Bold, iconic, image, standing the test of time.
Amazing.
There you go.
I love it. Yeah. Listen, this is clap it up. This will quite literally be in the house of whatever legendary players end up winning the World Cup.
Yeah,
so once again, congrats on it.
Yes.
Might be my boys Spain and Lamine Yamal. We'll see.
It's gonna be it already is in my house.
Yeah. Facts. 100%. All right, y'all. Once again, big shout out to Rich for designing the New York, New Jersey 2026 World Cup poster. Absolutely amazing, guys. Really, really cool experience for us. But of course, we got to get into some current news and footy. So as we enter the end of the season, I think one thing that differentiates footy from other sports is how much unique, exciting storylines are going on right now.
Yeah.
So you have title races, you have cup finals, you have continental cup finals, you have promotion, you have relegation, you have European qualification. So out of the kind of unique touch points in the things I just listed, what do you think is something that really differentiates footy from other sports like the NBA?
I think one of the more interesting touch points in footy is like the promotion relegation stuff.
For sure.
Especially teams going up into the first division. It's just such a cool story. So many cool stories. Working with the EFL this year has been really cool. It's been able to open my mind to like how cool the culmination of a season ending in a promotion push through the playoffs can be in England. Or right now, like Cesena, the little town in Italy that my dad's from. It's like they clinched playoffs today on like the last day of the season.
Must be crazy right now.
Yeah, it's nuts. Now, so there's 5 more games to go. Home away, semifinal. Home away, quarterfinal. Home away, semifinal, final in Rome. And if you win that, you go to Serie A.
Fire.
So yeah, it's just beautiful, beautiful stories. I don't know if you guys saw in Germany. Well, we'll talk about it later. But Germany's been insane recently.
Oh, for sure.
Anyway, promotion relegation for me, especially from a lower league going to the first division, has been really cool to see.
Yeah, huge for Sunderland, who's going for it. I saw they adjusted their pitch size to stop long throw-ins from the other team. Yeah. And I'm like, that is second-tier beauty that you only see in things like the EFL, Bundesliga 2, and all those kind of things.
That's
what about you?
Yeah, for me, I'll probably say the club teams playing other club teams in different countries.
Yeah.
And so, like, we have obviously the Champions League. We can see like a Barcelona versus an Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Or like in the CONCACAF Champions League, we have freaking Messi playing in Jamaica
For the
with
first
the
time,
Cavaliers.
Yep.
And so like I think that just creates so many storylines about culture and fandom and creates so many like international like beef and like banter on the internet. That obviously people know about when it comes to like World Cup time, but it's cool to see it too on the club level, like those super local. Like we were laughing at Bodo Glimt, like what the hell is a Bodo Glimt? And then they end up in the semifinal
of Europa,
of the
bro.
Europa League.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
I have how do I put this? I have a soccer hot take.
All right.
I think that domestic cups, especially in England, France, Italy, Spain, and Germany, should get you a Champions League qualification instead of a Europa League qualification. I think it would make those tournaments a little bit more prestigious. At least in Italy,
Don't they do something like that with the League Cup in England? I feel like there's a connection.
the League FA Cup sends you to Europa League. Carabao
Is it
Cup,
actually?
yeah. In Italy, it sends you to Europa League. In Spain, it sends you to Europa League. In France, I believe it sends you to Europa League. And in Germany, it sends you to Europa League.
And it affects the table amount of positions that go to those competitions,
but
right?
winning the competition itself does not send you to the
You're
Champions
saying
League.
Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the specific.
So
okay.
what I would want is for these domestic league cups to send you to the Champions League, because then it would allow it to be a little bit more prestigious in terms of like a tournament.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of sucks that teams don't field their best 11 in the domestic cup.
Consistently, at
Like,
least. Yeah.
like this is the King's Cup in Spain. This
Yeah.
is the Italian domestic cup.
Yeah.
But like, you don't really until the quarter.
Italian domestic
Nah,
cup.
but
Yeah, it's
until,
true, it's true.
until the quarterfinals, semifinals, teams are playing their
Yeah.
B team. The second string goalie is playing.
Well, you know what it is, bro.
too many games.
Too many games. Because it didn't used to be like that.
Yeah, it's true.
You know? And now people are trying to dismiss, for instance, Manchester United for winning the FA Cup over Man City.
Yeah.
And like, oh, the players are acting like it's a Champions League final. It's like, bro, that's an unreal moment. For instance, especially Kobe Manu at the time was 18, has beat his rival in Wembley his first season. Like, how is he not? He's living his dreams. Like, yeah, I think one of the beauties of footy is all these competitions. So we should really embrace all of them rather than just like try to dismiss everything besides the Champions League or besides the World Cup and your league title.
Well, I really think that if winning your domestic cup sent you to the
It would
Champions
change
League,
it.
it would be much bigger.
It would. I agree.
I think the most interesting thing that could come out of that, this is really random, but I was reading about the Coupe de France.
Exactly.
Coupe de France. And
Is that the first one or second one? 'Cause they
by
have
the
two.
way, in Germany, there's a third division team right now in the final.
Yeah. No, it's facts.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
No, I was just saying in the Coupe de France, like there are teams from like all the French, I guess like colonies.
Yeah.
So we have like teams that are playing from
I did not know that.
Guadeloupe,
Yeah.
French,
It's the longest away day.
Martinique,
Oh my God.
Tahiti, Réunion, Saint Pierre, like all these, tiny little islands, like half a globe or literally on the other side of the globe are like traveling to France to like play in this tournament. Now imagine a team from Tahiti ends up in the Champions League.
That's a lot of travel, though.
That's lit, though.
Because Man United, well, they ain't making no Champions League, but you know what I'm saying? Whoever.
Well,
and,
they win Europa League.
true. No, that's. You qualify for Champions League for that?
Yes, sir.
I think you qualify to Europa League.
The winner of Europa
if
League
you win
qualifies
Europa
to Champions
Oh,
League.
fact. It's a lot going on. Well, point being, you think Man United, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but I'm just telling you, Man United is not going to Tahiti, unfortunately.
If you have to, man.
Shit.
Spurs went all the way up to the Arctic.
You know how these teams are.
Hey, they went up to the Arctic. It's not,
That
you
is
know.
not the same.
Well, teams used to travel all the way to the other side of Russia when Edzo used to play for Kazan.
Yeah.
All the way out there.
Crazy.
They were in Champions League for a little bit. You have to
Trump-
go all the way to Asia.
Speaking
to play.
of Russia real quick, and we'll get into Trump later,
Christ.
he didn't know Russia was like banned from FIFA.
I saw that.
Yeah, that
was like,
I put that on.
I mean,
the
that's
chat.
not surprising.
He said,
with,
is that right?
with everything of his disgusting resume, I'm not surprised, but I'm like,
I mean, we could talk about it right now.
yeah.
In what sense?
I wanted to get into one more cross sport thing, but if you want to, we can do that first, then go to the next.
What's the conversation?
No, because I was just gonna talk about the fact that he had that press conference with
Yeah.
Infantino
Yeah.
recently, and he was literally like, he had this interaction
Yeah.
where the reporter was like, "Did you know that Russia was banned from the 2026 World Cup?"
Yep.
And his reaction was like, well, maybe that should be an incentive for them to stop the war in Ukraine, so that like we can alleviate them and let them back into the tournament. Because Infantino was like, yeah, things can change over the next couple months. And I just think it's interesting that like literally football is being weaponized to like basically like be like, hey,
Yeah.
you should stop a war. Like not the fact that people are dying.
Yeah.
Isn't the
But
part
the World
that's
Cup.
like, but the World Cup, like, hey, you should come play.
It's a bad thing, but it's also a good thing. It shows the power of the sport for change at the end of the day.
It shows the power.
This sport has stopped wars many times before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So-
it's true.
It's decreased the amount of Islamophobic incidents in Merseyside, and around Liverpool.
In
Like
Ivory-
it's insane.
in Ivory
it should
Coast, it
not
stopped the
take.
war.
That's really
It
my
should not
point.
take sports
Yeah.
or music or a film or whatever to stop the hate. But the fact that it can that's why
It's
footy is footy.
insane. It's insane.
Footy is the most deeply tied to religion, politics, race. There's no comparison.
And then they asked Trump, like, oh, well, how do you feel about the World Cup, given like all the tensions with Mexico and Canada over tariffs and stuff? He's like, tension's a good thing.
That's what you put in the track. I didn't know what your quote was specifically referencing.
He was like, tension's a good
This
thing.
dude is crazy, bro. He's trying to spice up the World Cup matchups. Lord have
Bro,
mercy.
it's about to get crazy. I'm telling y'all, bro.
Yeah, it's already crazy.
I don't remember the name of the organization. We're getting off topic.
This
but
is
the human
funny.
rights. Like one of the top human rights organizations filed like a complaint and like a letter to the White House being like, or to FIFA being like, you should reconsider letting the U.S. like be a host country.
FIFA don't give a.
Yeah, FIFA said.
I know they don't, but like,
FIFA been doing that.
I'm not saying that in the sense that like they're going to listen, but I think it's interesting for people to read the report and see like their concerns about their concerns about people being detained at the border, people not being able to go back to certain countries, people getting deported to countries that they're not even from.
Nah, the same episode is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Very, very funny. One of our first clips. Remember I said like, who should let the USA in the World Cup? And we were talking about 2022.
Immigration, man.
Crazy. Anyways,
back to business.
Let me throw it up. Yo, New York Knicks, man. This is moments of dreams. I'm telling you, I have never witnessed us in my lifetime as a fan win even 3 games in the second round. I've never witnessed that. So what we just did, we didn't even win the series yet.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you saw what happened on 33rd and 7th Avenue. Unbelievable scenes. And I've seen this take before, and I want to get y'all opinion on it. Are Knicks fans the closest things in American sports to the world footy fan base?
Yes.
Because everywhere else in footy, this is Milan, Madrid, Barca, wherever. Doesn't matter.
Yo,
but in American sports, this is like the Knicks fans. And they are crazy. Yeah. But this is
crazy,
in Brazil, bro. Argentina? Come on, dog.
Yeah.
So I'm curious y'all take on it. I think it is a good glimpse
It's a
into what
good
the passion is.
comparison.
The answer to your question is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
I think Knicks fans are the craziest fans in terms of sports fans in the US in terms of how they care about their team. And just speaking from experience in terms of having been to Europe and seen how a lot of these fandoms, like a lot of these like ultra groups will support their club within the city becomes almost like a canvas for the people to support their team. You'll see stickers everywhere. You'll see jerseys everywhere. You'll see the logo of the club everywhere. The way the Knicks are represented within New York culture is the exact same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, especially like the celebrities that exist within the mythology of the city
Crazy.
and how like normalized it is to see like Spike with like Knicks gear always. It shows a certain level of like emotional closeness that most other American sports franchises don't have.
Yeah.
Maybe Buffalo.
I was gonna say
Maybe
the
the
Bills. It's not the same.
But that's born out of struggle, less so
Yeah.
out of love.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's also something that exists in Europe as well.
Yeah, and the Knicks too. That's the other thing about the Knicks. People talk about how few championships they have. I think it was
Yeah,
73
facts.
and 71.
Yeah.
But that's part of the passion.
Yeah.
Part of the passion is it doesn't even
pain-
matter. And
the
how
pain
crazy
equals
we're going
passion.
that we're just in the second round, baby. What?
And the Knicks-
about to win it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's part of European footy.
Yeah.
These teams are diehard for third division teams.
Yeah.
Second division teams. And not just European footy, excuse me, the entire globe.
Yeah.
So people talk about, the championships. That's not what the passion comes from. That's why I think the Knicks are so representative of the rest of the world soccer type of passion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think the Knicks fans have done the best job of capturing and documenting the energy.
Oh, yeah.
You've never seen like a side talk TV version in football. Like you tell me when you've seen like a
You're saying in soccer?
Like a post game
In Paris.
Paris is good.
No, they burn the city down.
Yeah.
But that's different. Like I'm talking just like fans
Fans?
outside talking shit.
AFTV? I'm not tapped into, like, I don't watch it, but
that might be
what
the
Robbie
closest.
has
That might be
built.
the
What Robbie
closest.
has built AFTV.
But
I
you're
feel
not
like
seeing the Arsenal fans after the game
tweaking.
talking about
Maybe we are, though.
outside, and
Maybe we are, though.
We put you in a pack.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're not the passion's not
the level.
same.
Yeah. No, the content that comes out for the Knicks, like vocally on camera, is different
It's
level.
nuts. I seen the craziest video.
No. And
they were like,
they
"Yo,
go way
Jason
too-
Tatum, if you come outside."
nah, they need to chill.
They're
It
like-
gets worse than
they're
that. It
like,
gets worse.
Jason Tatum, I'm bringing your Achilles tendon back to the crib.
Word.
I'm like,
They
yo,
said that's
the
what you get
fuck?
for choking out your ankles with those overly tied butters, bro. With the Timbs was way too tight. I was like, all right, we don't gotta wish injuries. Speedy recovery, Jason. But part of going too far is very football. It's very football to go too far.
Yeah.
Homie in Germany who got jumped by his fan base because he was wearing
Yeesh.
another team's shirt.
Yeah.
The pig's head on the pitch.
Word, pig's head on the pitch, all types of stuff.
Bananas on the pitch.
Word. Speaking of wearing another team's shirt, though, I do have to shout out Joga Legacy for passing me over this incredibly designed Ronaldinho jersey. And this is coming from a Real Madrid fan, but some players just absolutely transcend sport. I think it's one of all of our favorite players of all time.
Sure,
so big
of course.
shout out. Super cool vintage design. It's got him holding his Ballon d'Or. Got to turn around because he has a lot of accolades. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? You looks good. You look good? I'm
Yes.
Fire design, the fit is good, the collar is good. One of the most iconic smiles of all time, for real. So once again, big shout out to Joga Legacy, shout out Ronaldinho. And once again, this is coming from a Real Madrid fan that tells you how valid it is. Come on, man.
Facts.
All right.
It's a beautiful shirt.
Beautiful shirt. It's been a beautiful season. And we are heading into the finals of the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. It's been quite the journey, so I want to get y'all winners for each one of these competitions. Champions League final, we have Inter versus PSG. Europa League final, we have Spurs versus Man United. In Conference League final, we have Chelsea versus Real Betis.
I mean, from my perspective, I feel like we all called this final. I'm pretty sure we all
He had Barca.
Chill, bro.
He had Barca.
No.
I mean,
See how he
I look like a
pointed at
crazy
you?
hypocrite.
You know that meme? That's
I look like a crazy hypocrite wearing this, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm first of all, I'm very proud of this PSG team.
Yeah,
It's
man.
one of the first PSG teams that I'm able to actually root for.
Everyone roots for them.
Yeah.
There's nothing to dislike right now.
Luis Enrique is probably one of the better humans in soccer, to be honest.
Yes.
So I'm rooting for him.
Allegedly.
He's done some kind stuff. He had some
I'll
crazy
put
stuff happen
my
to him
foot down.
too.
I'll say I think he is.
Yeah.
I'll stand on that.
Allegedly.
And I'm just happy for Dembele. I'm happy for Hakimi, happy for Donnarumma. That team is a very much a redemption story in terms of like a lot of the things that those players have been through.
It is.
So yeah, I'm happy for what PSG has been able to do. I'm also very happy because PSG, I think they went through, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was Aston Villa. I believe it was
Correct.
Liverpool, Aston Villa, Arsenal,
Yes.
which is the Prem.
It is the Prem.
So I appreciate
Who's the farmers now?
exactly. I appreciate that cleanup
You
of
gotta
those
insert that
of
clip.
those English clubs.
Who are the farmers?
Yeah.
And they ain't the first team to run through the Prem and win the Champions League, aka Real Madrid as well, many times. Yeah. Prem. Come on now.
Someone was saying that they felt that more Premier League clubs should be within the Champions League.
I swear to God. Get them
and
out
it
of here.
really
man.
upset me.
But that's, you know what the problem is with being American is our main source of European news and culture comes from England.
Yeah.
And that's why, because of English speaking. So that's where you
Yep.
see these narratives. Even though I speak Spanish, you speak Italian, we all speak a little bit of French
Yep.
and stuff, we see other
Yep.
things.
Yep.
That's why we're kind of annoyed with it.
Yep.
And the rest of Europe, I think there's all right, Prem. Keep
Yep.
thinking you're that. Like,
Yeah.
you see who's getting the trophies, bro.
Yeah. I think ultimately though, Inter almost is destined to win it.
They
ultimately.
are. I think they are.
Unfortunately. I think what they've been through to get to that point, like how emotionally charged it's been
Yep.
for them to get to where they are, it's like it's almost like written. that they're
And
gonna win.
the thing about Inter now is you can't throw them anything in the final to scare them.
yeah.
They've already lost the final. They already almost lost at home with a multiple 2-0 leads.
And they've beaten better teams.
They've beaten-
to get there. They beat a Bayern and a Barca.
Yeah, bro. Like, more experienced,
Yeah.
incredible coach. I think they're just ready for the moment. I think the Champions League, if you look at who wins it every year, you
It's
have
the
to,
team that got tested the most.
it's usually the team that got tested the most.
It's the team that has the most chinks in their armor. and is
Especially
still
the
there.
last few years. Most Champions League winners aren't just kind of like, oh, that's random. It's usually like, look at the last few years and what they've built up to. So I think this PSG squad can win one in the next 2 to 3. Winning it this year, I don't think they will, but they totally could too. They totally could. But I'm going to go with Inter. But yeah, 2 teams with 2 amazing stories. And they really earned their position. What's interesting, going back to the beginning of the season, this was the first year of the league phase. Inter was in the top 8, but PSG was actually, I think, 15th.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about, do we think a team from the top of the league phase is going to go ahead and win it?
That's true.
Could be Inter, but if PSG does, they weren't in that top 8. So they actually had to win the round of 32 as well.
Good proof of concept from UEFA, actually.
Yeah. So it's very interesting to see.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Nah, I was just going to say, the only reason I would be happy if Inter won is because I learned the story of Francesco Acerbi. And how
what a journey, bro. What a journey.
He beat cancer like twice. He's had a lot of ups and downs in his career. He scored his first Champions League goal at the age of 37. I think it's just a testament to like how things in life can be absolutely insane until like, you know, a lot later in life than like many people would expect or hope. So that would be cool to see, but I'm definitely PSG all the way.
Vibes,
Dembele, Barcola, Doué, Vitinha, Hakimi.
Yep.
Like, there's so many players on that team that I just genuinely like. Kvaratskhelia.
Yep.
It's definitely the more like techie team,
for sure.
The more swaggy team, the funner team to watch, in my opinion. And then obviously everything that Luis Enrique was, all the shit that he was talking post game, was fire. So
he's been through it too. Actually, he lost his daughter in like 2017, 18.
Damn,
he's been through it too. Yeah, for sure.
And so. Yeah, this is Dembele's season to win it, bro. 45 goals and assists this season.
I think he won Player of the Year for France today.
For sure.
He
already won it. He already won it.
So
yeah. No, PSG has a lot of. I mean, in 10 years, I don't know how long the squad is going to stay together.
That's what I'm saying,
but when
bro.
you look back at a young Doué, young Vitinha, young all these guys, it's a crazy squad. They're going to have a streets never forget team.
Might be now or never.
Yeah.
It might be now or never.
I have a feeling, right now it feels like a project, which is what I always say they need instead of just stars in and out. Yeah. So I feel like they'll be together for another 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Them niggas be leaving PSG, bro.
It's true. But the vibes feel a little different this time. I'm rooting for PSG.
It's a bunch of French boys, though, so it's less likely that they'll leave.
French and,
Vitinha, you don't think he'll leave?
Not yet.
After this season, I could see him getting a big signing, bro.
But the thing is, he's already on a big team that pays a lot of money.
Yeah. Depends.
But he totally could play on I mean, for me right now, Vitinha starts in any midfield in the world.
I could see him at a Liverpool.
Of course, but emotionally,
it's nasty, but I could see it.
Emotionally, I think there's no reason for him to leave.
Yeah,
he's getting paid a ton. He just did a Champions League run with this team. Like,
he's got a good story too. Yeah. He used to be on Wolves.
I don't want him to leave.
Bro, speaking of a good story, he used to be a rotation player at Wolves.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
that come up is crazy. Yeah. I think right now on current form, he's one of the best in the world for sure. Yeah, I think it's him, Pedri, maybe Jude and Fede. Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Easily.
Yeah, super dynamic player.
Jude? Question mark.
Jude is non-existent.
Yeah, I don't know if I put Jude in that list.
I mean, if you actually watch the games, current form. I mean,
that's what you were saying. You were saying right now.
It's kind of faded to the background.
You were saying right now. I'm just talking about current form. Jude has not been playing well. That's all I'm saying.
Last couple of games, ish.
That's all.
Yeah,
you could.
But he's a box to box, but also goal scoring, but also defensive work rate. He's an all around midfielder. So,
anyways, I digress.
But speaking of the Dembele season, what do we think about that Ballon d'Or?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
So Ballon d'Or candidates right now, just to refresh you guys' memory, they're saying Rafinha has the number 1 spot in terms of most likely to win it. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Who's they?
Just
give it to me. Just allow. So they're saying Rafinha in terms of number 1 spot. Then they're talking about Lamine Yamal. They're talking about Lamine Yamal in close third. Donnarumma. That's the list that they're saying.
Now I need to know they.
Then Mo Salah.
Then Dembele.
Wait,
who put Donnarumma over Dembele?
I believe it was Fabrizio Romano, who's an Italian.
I'm not going off Fabrizio's list. I think it's straight up.
Anyway, what's your list?
I think the list.
Bro, Italians at the top.
Word. I think it's Rafinha.
I didn't put. I guess.
I think it's Rafinha.
Italians and youth at the top.
I'm crying. I think it's Rafinha, Dembele, or Salah. As much as I love, again,
I agree.
I love Lamine Yamal. Yeah. What it means for me, and I'll get into it at a future date. A black Spanish kid who's going to be the most famous Spanish person in the world and a global icon. Like that, what it means for my heritage is crazy. But statistically, and stats are not everything. Rafinha's had too many goals and assists to not be the one player from Barca who would get it. Mm-hmm. He's been too good. He's been too good in too many clutch moments. Just scored 2 more against Real Madrid. The Benfica comeback game, the 4-3 Celta Vigo comeback game, the Atletico 4-2 comeback game, the biggest moments, the clutches, the venomous Barca counter, Rafinha's been the best player.
But
the magic in the boots, Lamine has more magic, and I think second half of the season, especially Champions League, you tell that he's better footballer. Overall season, it has to be Rafinha. And as much as I love Lamine, again, I love Lamine. He's only scored 8 goals in La Liga.
Yeah.
And I know, and that's where it gets into a lot of media perception. Like even comparing him and Mbappe, for instance, like he has scored 8 goals in La Liga.
Yeah.
Not 28. Yeah. So I think Rafinha has to get it. Lamine is up there, but I think Rafinha is number 1 from Barca. But if Dembele wins the Champions League, it's got to be Dembele.
And what if Inter wins the Champions League?
It was a good shout. Lautaro.
No,
but if they also win
if Inter wins Champions League and Serie A,
it could be Lautaro.
Bro, we haven't talked about an Inter player on that list at all.
Yeah.
Damn.
The only one would be Lautaro, though.
Fuck. The only one would be Lautaro, not Barella.
Statistically, Barella's not, he doesn't have the PR for it. Because some people say Pedri, and he has better PR than Barella, because he's from La Masia.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually not really from La Masia, there's still nothing. But yeah, I would say it has to be Lautaro. Because they're going to care about stats.
Yeah.
But Barella, speaking of best midfielders in the world, he's in the top 5 for sure. He's unbelievable. But I think right now Rafinha, but if Dembele wins the Champions League, Dembele.
DeMarco.
What does a goalkeeper or a defender need to do, man?
Van Dijk should have won it probably 2019. I think you have to have one of those seasons.
Question, no.
I think you need to have one of those seasons.
You got to do it. Donnarumma tore his face up this season. Saved so many. Like Donnarumma was instrumental. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's a keeper, bro.
I still don't. I think he's more replaceable though than Vitinha and Dembele.
Sure,
only a little bit. Like I think Courtois could be doing that.
I agree with you.
I think Oblak from Atletico could be doing that. Yeah, like we've seen Courtois do it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree, but they're not doing it this season. That's what I'm trying to say. Like this season, Donnarumma.
I get it.
So you would reward him this season. You know what I mean?
You know, another reward that's in the ether right now is the Europa League final.
Yeah,
it's coming up this week.
That disgusting. Fucking
as a Chelsea fan, what's your
disgrace of a disgrace of a match. Tottenham versus 16th place. 16th place versus 7th. Disgrace of a Europa League final. 17?
Bro,
it's a disgrace.
I need to confirm this.
No, it might be 15-16.
No, it's 16-17.
17, 18, 19. Go.
Regardless.
Yeah, 16, 17. You're right.
16, 17.
Let's talk about it.
Disgrace of a European final in Bilbao.
I think
my God, it really is 16, 17.
Hosting 16th place versus 17th place in England.
Yeah.
Very stinky.
I think it's a testament.
Hold on. Go ahead. Sorry.
I know what he's going to say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What I'm about to say is hilarious, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think it's just a bad look on the rest of the leagues.
I know you're going to say it's good for the Prem.
No, I think it's a bad look for the rest of the leagues. We talking all this shit about League On not being a farmers league anymore. We talking all this shit about Barca and Real Madrid fucking soaring, and then we have 16th and 17th place in the EPL occupying the highest place at the second biggest tournament in Europe.
It is odd.
That's disgusting. And Athletic Bilbao, Athletic Club, they had the biggest chance to just erase Man United's season. And they got beat on aggregate like 6-2 or some shit.
It's true.
Like absolutely smacked.
To be fair, their players were like full. Like that Athletic Club squad that played was like it was a red card, and a lot of their players were injured.
A lot of injuries too.
But still,
it's just
I think it's.
Can I say one thing first?
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw this. I came across this today. Manchester United's top 10 most expensive signings.
Oh God.
Paul Pogba, 100 million. Anthony, 95 million. Harry Maguire, 87 million. Jadon Sancho, 85 million. Lukaku, 84 million. Højlund, 77 million.
Stinky.
So then it's Di Maria, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes. Then we get to number 11, Lenny Yoro, 62 million. Martial, 60 million.
Okay.
Fred, 59 million.
We were talking about Fred the other day with a tattoo thing.
Thanks.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, 55 million. Andre Onana, 50 million. This is insane.
The financial disparity is disgusting, and they don't do anything with it.
The thing is, these are all great players. They just ruin. They get ruined at United.
Yeah, Anthony might be worth that.
Sancho, Pogba, Anthony, Maguire, Sancho, Lukaku, Højlund.
All great players aside from Højlund.
Great is a word that is in the English language.
Oh, good players.
Good players. Great.
I don't know if Maguire's a good player.
Great.
Pogba's great.
I saw Harry Maguire dicing up niggas on the wing.
After 3 years of nothing.
Right.
I think it's also just like...
I mean, it's a disaster is what it is.
It's a disaster, but it's also... To your point is, those clubs are the most up and down I've ever seen. I think Tottenham has like 19 losses in the Prem.
Yeah.
They're just this. And the up ones are in the Europa League.
Bad. In my lifetime, I've never seen Tottenham and Man United this bad.
No, hell no. Especially United.
Just out of the relegation zone?
Yeah, bad.
Yo,
insane.
Scrap the whole thing.
Who y'all rooting for
Scrap
in the
whole
final?
thing and I hope they both lose. I don't even know how that's
I hope
possible.
Spurs get it, man. I think it would be the funniest thing ever if Spurs win that shit.
Yeah, I hope Spurs win it. I'm more partial to Spurs, especially because I like. Yes, I also like the Ange quote where he was like, "I always win trophies in my second season."
Yeah,
it'd be kind of fire.
It'd be hilarious if he does in this manner. Finish 16th.
I hate the way that United beat Lyon.
Yeah.
So I want them to lose.
That was so stinky. Oh my gosh.
That was partially Lyon's fault. I mean, definitely Lyon's fault.
Yeah.
But like,
so United's owners, the Ratcliffes, they've just bought the club. They're talking about serious budget cuts for how they're going to be, I guess, rewarding the staff. They're not going to pay for any of the tickets for the staff to go to watch the game, which is pretty standard. Like, for example, Inter is sending their whole staff to the Champions League final. Tottenham, I believe, is sending a majority of their staff to the Europa League final. It's pretty standard that when you go to a European final, you send your staff to go watch the game.
Makes sense.
And generally, if you win a trophy, especially a European trophy, you generally do a parade. Even if it's a Europa League trophy, you do some sort of celebration. The Ratcliffes have said that to cut costs, they're going to be doing a cookout at the team training facilities. A grill.
You're lying.
I swear to God.
If they win Europa League?
On my life.
This is Man United. Where's Josh when you need him, bro? I need the Man United fan take. Who's cooking?
And not even just a cookout, a British cookout. We're talking about beans.
It's not even going to be like the local
grilling beans.
Just beans. That's actually it. All you can eat beans.
Beans and ham, bro.
Beans and ham.
Grill. That's
Word.
nasty.
And sausage with egg.
With ale
that club
poured on it.
You know what I'm saying?
Joke.
And then fish and chips with mushed peas. Nastiest shit ever.
A cookout is crazy.
That's crazy, bro. What about Chelsea? Y'all got a cookout plan? Conference League final?
Are you guys going to do a parade, you think?
A parade would be a little bit much.
As Champions League winners twice?
A parade would be a little bit much.
Yeah.
They should have like some sort of fan celebration.
Yeah.
A party. Just looking to throw a party.
Yeah, a parade would be a little bit crazy. But
yeah.
I'm not even confident that they'll beat Betis.
Yeah, he's wearing that green.
I'm not.
You know what's coming.
I'm not confident that they'll beat.
It's the first challenge all season.
We got cooked by Newcastle and just actually looked like doo-doo over the weekend. So I can easily see them just fumbling that game against Betis.
You know what the problem is too? Y'all have all the pressure.
Yeah.
There is no pressure on Betis.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of the season,
and it's literally the first time y'all have pressure all season.
Yeah.
When was the last time you guys had pressure to win a game?
This whole like
because they're fighting for top
streak
four
for the last couple of games has been like OD pressure.
No. Well, yes, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the pressure comes from an expectation to be in Europe.
Yeah.
But not necessarily an expectation that you guys are the better team going into the game.
Yeah.
Whereas against Betis, the expectation is that you win the game because you're the better team. On paper, at least, no?
No, they should.
I don't think so.
Beginning of the season, too, like, Chelsea had to win the Conference League. There was no question.
Yes.
Like, day one, when you're playing Noah 10-0, had to. Betis turned it up second half of the season because Betis was not looking like this last half of the season. So, y'all have to win. I'm taking Betis, bro. My dad from Sevilla. Come on now.
Fuck you.
Come on. It's going to be a good game, though.
Nicholas Jackson, bro.
Every time Anthony gets the ball, I know you sweating.
Nicholas Jackson is drunk. Did you see his red card over the weekend?
What he do?
He pulled the freaking elbow. He elbowed some dude in the head, bro. And we have 3 matches left.
Yeah. He missing all
got
of
a 3-match ban.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, bro, are you... Bro,
He's going on vacation. He said, my season's done.
I'm going on holiday.
We need a striker, bro. We need a striker. We're cooked.
OC, man?
Nah, bro. You know what's the number one trending hashtag in Turkey right now?
What?
Please stay, hashtag Osimhen.
Yeah.
700,000 tweets, bro.
I believe it.
What?
Speaking of passionate fan bases, man, Turkey, they got him.
Yeah.
They got him for real. Let's move back into La Liga. I got a La Liga legend on my shirt. The title race is effectively over. Copa del Rey has already been won by Barcelona. So I think we're at a fair point now where we can kind of overall look at how each of the big 3 in La Liga did this season, as well as look into what we expect for them for next season. So for Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico, how do we feel like they did this season and what do we expect from them moving forward?
So quickly, Atletico Madrid, I think they need a striker up top. I think they should look over to Dortmund.
They got Julian Alvarez, bro.
I think they need a striker up top.
Yo, Sam takes.
I don't think Alvarez is a.
He got like 25 goals.
Bro,
I kind of feel you though.
I don't think he's an actual number
What do you
9
think he
though.
is? An 11?
Like a floating around
Yeah.
kind of. Okay.
He's a classic Argentinian
Yeah.
forward
type.
Forward.
You don't think he can do what Lautaro does? Hold up and all that?
Nah.
With
the
Lautaro,
same
Lautaro
way,
yeah.
needs his Thuram, or Lautaro needs his.
So you think
Lukaku.
he's a Thuram?
I think exactly.
Okay.
Whereas I think if you look over at Dortmund, Guirassy is the perfect Atletico Madrid striker to pair with.
I don't want to deal with him, bro.
In what sense?
That's a good shout.
No, as a Real Madrid
Oh,
fan.
okay. Yeah, exactly. I
No,
believe
sure.
I believe a Guirassy
Partnership?
partnership would be really, really nice.
That'd be good for La Liga, too.
He just went to Dortmund.
We know how Dortmund
This
is.
is 2 years ago. It's 2 years. This is his second
No,
season.
no,
Yeah,
it's
second
not.
season. He played Champions League last year.
Really?
So this is his second season. Yep.
He played against Madrid in the final? I don't remember that.
He did it.
He
This
did.
guy's drunk.
He did.
Keep going. Keep going about it. Let's go.
Nah, I could be wrong.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm
drunk.
pretty sure it's his first season, Mike.
Anyway.
Really? He joined this year?
Yes.
Okay.
Continue.
Anyways, I think it'd be nice. So that would be my piece of advice for Atletico Madrid. For Barcelona,
Yeah, this
I have no. It was last season. He joined this season.
He joined the season. First year in Dortmund.
For Barcelona, I really have no advice. I believe that they are in a very, very good spot, but I think the team will just mature, and that team is a dynasty. So I think
You think he's going to turn into a dynasty?
bro. Do you not see the picture of the 15 kids who grew up together who are now playing for fucking Barcelona together?
No, that's probably true.
It's insanity.
The problem, if they have to figure out the financial stuff though, and I
Why?
do think too.
There's
what do
no
you mean why?
need. They just
in
keep
debt,
spawning
just chilling.
children.
Well, until they want their bread, and
Spawn that
Paris
shit,
comes
man.
calling, and Man United comes calling, and Man City comes calling. So that's the only issue. But I will say,
I mean, if you don't have to buy players, you can just spend it all on salary.
right.
They
We'll
just
see.
need to keep doing Cactus Jack collabs.
Yeah, facts. They got to do everything, but their turnaround,
They are.
the turnaround for them has been great.
And they're
Madrid-
about to get their actual stadium revenue now that
Yeah.
they own.
No, they
so
should be good.
They should be all right. For Real Madrid,
Lots of things.
there's a lot of advice. Xabi Alonso's coming in, which is good.
Huge.
Which is very good. He plays a very different style of
Xabi.
football than what they've been used to. He's an actual tactician.
Yep.
Compared to Ancelotti, who is less of a
Order.
tactician and more of a man manager, which is equally as important.
Yeah, I mean, look at the trophy cabinet.
Because
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Ancelotti's not a good manager at all. However, I do think that for Xabi Alonso's style of play to work, he needs a Florian Wirtz style player.
Okay.
And I don't believe that Real Madrid right now has properly utilized Arda Güler.
I was just about to say.
So they already have the player. They just need to trust him.
And the second half of this, the last 5-ish games, you've seen the Arda Güler arc,
Yep.
especially as Rodrigo's been a little hurt, not playing as well. I think he'll be coming out in our starter.
The other thing I
I'm
would
not sorry.
advise you guys to do, you Real Madrid fans, is I would go over to Newcastle and bring in Sandro Tonali.
For midfield?
Yeah.
For depth, I get he's not starting, though.
That's gross.
You'd be surprised. That boy's
He's definitely
insane.
not. Oh,
He's
I mean,
insane.
You're tweaking.
Well, once you say Jude Fede, Chouameni, okay.
I would say
Camavinga.
Jude, Fede, Tonali. Tonali is okay. You'll
All
see.
right.
You'll see.
Tonali's
I
more,
won't see.
Tonali,
You will.
Tonali's more offensive though.
No,
I thought he was
not.
more holding.
Then
He's holding.
Chouameni?
He's very
Oh,
Tony.
then Chouameni, yeah.
No, but he can do it. He's very Tony Cruz.
Metronome?
Yeah.
But that's what Chouameni is. The problem with
He's
Madrid,
not
too.
a metronome, brother.
Yes,
Huh?
he is. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
The problem with one of the biggest problems with Madrid
Bro.
has been to get into it, Madrid. I mean, the defensive issues from injury standpoint have been like this weekend. They're missing their first five starting defenders were all out. Alaba, Rudiger, Militao, Mondi, and Dani Carvajal, who just came off a Ballon d'Or season.
Yeah.
All from like different types of ACLs, everything. So like when the defense is that battered, now you have people. Lucas Vasquez, like legend, bro. But honestly, my G, and he is leaving this summer. You can't, like I'm not gonna get disrespectful. I'll
funny.
never do that. I'll never talk to athletes a certain way. But it's
Honestly,
like,
my G.
but like for real, like he cannot be a starting right back against any top 10 team in the top 5 leagues.
He got exposed crazy.
Yeah, he
No,
was- yeah,
but no,
yeah,
but bro, that's all season. And what's worse is like even if you're gonna be slow and can't really defend, you can't just give the ball away.
Yeah.
And no, he is leaving though. You know, Perez getting him out of here. But point being is when the defense is that shattered, now Chouameni, who's supposed to be the metronome when we just lost Kroos,
Yeah, poor guy.
slides to center back
Yeah.
all season long. Now the midfield doesn't have what it needs. Camavinga's in and out because of injuries too. So like there was no stability. There was no stability.
It's true.
And then Mbappe's all the pressure in the world. Shout out to him, bro, because honestly,
he had a crazy season.
honestly, bro,
Lost 5-4, scored all 4.
bro, I ain't gonna lie. Mbappe's become so good that we've completely underrated him, dog.
Yeah.
He's Madrid's best ever first season goal scorer.
Lost the World Cup final, scored 3.
Bro, he has a hat trick against City, Barca, and another one in La Liga this season. He's already scored 5 against Barca.
Is Mbappe turning into a Harry Kane?
Low key.
He won the World Cup at 20 and mad trophies before.
I'm saying since that.
Since what? Since World Cup?
Yeah.
All the French league titles and becoming PSG's top all-time goal scorer?
Nobody gives a fuck.
The waffling on this pod, we just were hyping like we're not doing that. All this PSG love to all the current guys. He's their all-time top scorer and did it before 26.
Yeah, but
I don't know,
there's
man.
a reason why they didn't make it to the final.
They did actually. And they lost to Bayern in 2020.
That was
Jesus
on Neymar.
Christ.
You know that.
Oh, it was on Neymar?
You know that.
You guys are hilarious. Actually, Neymar is the reason they didn't go further when Madrid had that comeback season. Mbappe was the best player on Paris. Neymar,
I'm talking about
Messi
the final.
season?
The final that they went to, that was all Neymar.
No.
Okay.
Anyways. So what Madrid needs to do, get the defense healthy, sign depth so that when people go out, you don't put just random wingers at right back and all that.
Yep.
New coach. I think they'll be all right. The thing about footy too, in all sports, everything's in cycles.
Yep.
Madrid won the Champions League, then they didn't. Then they won it again, then they didn't. They won La Liga, then they didn't. They won it, then they didn't. I think they'll be back. I think they'll win La Liga next season. I know about UCL, but yeah, everything's in cycles.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Seb. Atletico just need another forward.
Yeah.
They perfect defensively. It just needs a little bit more firepower up top.
Yeah.
Especially when you got your top competitor scoring 95 goals in a season.
Yeah.
Barca, they're perfect as they are.Maybe they need some reinforcements in the back.
I think it's tactics. I just don't think the high line's going to get you in the Champions League, bro. I just don't.
They barely missed out on the final.
But they did again. And when's the last time they won it? 2015. There's a difference in club level. It's a fact.
I was doubtful of the high line, but I fuck with it. That should be working.
I don't think so.
That should be working.
Because Madrid should have scored 2 more.
It's very bold.
They just get like teams be offside OD. But anyways, I think they just need some like defensive reinforcements. Real Madrid, I don't know. Real Madrid confuses me because I know they had a lot of injuries, but like every time I watch them, I'm like, you have the best players in the world. Like what's really happening? I don't think they need.
You know what it is?
I don't think they need any new signings. I think Xabi Alonso
Trent will come in though.
Trent and Xabi will come in and kind of give them a little reset. And I think Rodrigo needs to go.
That's not too much of a hot take. He fell off a little bit. We'll see though. New coach. We'll see.
I think Rodrigo's going to Man City.
I think I can see that. People don't understand.
Striker, brother. Like who's like Xabi Alonso has played with Boniface up top for 2 years.
I mean, I think Mbappe clearly can be a striker.
Fine, bro.
I think the numbers.
You're tweaking.
Yeah.
He's not a striker though.
Well, the goals are there.
Yeah, but that's not my point. My point is
Madrid won the Champions League without a striker 2 seasons ago.
I'm talking about the fact that you brought in a new coach who plays with a very clear system and that you guys don't have players that fit his system.
They're trying to make him a 9, bro.
I think they'll make it work with Xabi.
Vamos a ver.
But also, I think what you're saying too, to what's wrong with Real Madrid, I think it's human. I think it's championship fatigue is real. We see it in every sport.
Niggas said we win too much.
No, the last few NBA champions all got bounced in the second round.
Yeah.
People don't win the Champions League. You know what team that wins the Champions League back to back?
The fuck
is
I'll explain.
What do you mean? What?
No, he's laughing about the fact that you guys win too much. His club is looking at whether or not they're going to play Europa League or Champions League. Have you seen this?
What do you mean?
Chelsea have the option if they win the Conference League to either play Europa League or if they make Champions League, do the Premier League, choose. Yeah. It's one of the first times ever in history that a European club gets given the option to play
if they qualify for Champions League.
And there's genuine conversation, at least online from Chelsea fans, about, we're not ready for the Champions League.
I agree.
It's disgusting.
I agree. I don't want us to qualify for the Champions League.
Y'all gonna finish bottom 4?
I want us to. Europa is our next logical step. We're not there.
It's disgusting.
If your significant other was trying to actually
finish the fucking metaphor.
Listen, let him land. We got a lot of turbulence. We got a lot. Listen, the pilot is upside down, but we have not crashed yet. Let him land. Let him land. Listen, we're going all the way down.
I'm trying to be more media trained.
We hitting the ocean? Nah, we crashed. He's not landing nothing. We crashed. The pilot is spiraling nosedive. We have hit the middle of the city.
Never mind.
Absolutely. You walk out of halftime.
Yeah. Bro. Oh man.
You don't understand, bro. There is no such thing as any other club except for
Chelsea,
it's just a British club.
It's very Todd Bowley.
Only a Premier League club has the luxury to say, we're not ready for Champions League football.
Yeah, even though they qualified for it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Y'all have to want more, man. Y'all have the only Champions Leagues in London.
Hey, bro, when I'm not ready for a baddie, I know it. I just instead of taking the 10, I need the 7.
And how do you rate that?
But to be in the position to not be ready for it is quite a privilege.
I know myself, bro. To
be in the position. See, now the analogy stops working, though.
There are ebbs and flows in life.
I agree with you.
Listen, man.
There are ebbs and flows in life.
Personality.
Speaking of other leagues.
Yes, sir.
In the Bundesliga.
Let's get it.
For Bayern, for Dortmund, and for Leverkusen, right now, it's looking like Bayern and Leverkusen are fully in Champions League next season. Mm-hmm. But in a crazy turn of events, it's looking like Dortmund has a chance to get into the Champions League. So right now, the table is Frankfurt in 3rd place, Freiburg in 4th place, and Dortmund in 5th, which is ridiculous because a couple weeks ago we were watching Dortmund be very, very low in the table.
Like 10th, yeah.
Let's finish this. I'll get Moose after.
Yeah.
So we were witnessing Dortmund be very, very low in the table. Do you guys think that Dortmund will make that jump? The last game of the weekend, this weekend, is a match between Frankfurt and Freiburg in Freiburg. Ooh. So Freiburg is 4th, Frankfurt is 3rd, and Dortmund is 5th. I believe it's 55, 54. So I believe it's 50. Yeah.
57, 55, 54.
57, yeah.
1 game left.
Yes. So the
that's so insane.
The permutations are, of course, that if Dortmund wins and Frankfurt wins, Dortmund leapfrogs Freiburg and goes to the Champions League.
Yeah.
If Freiburg and Frankfurt draw and Dortmund wins, Dortmund managed to leapfrog Freiburg and Frankfurt and get 4th place. Is that correct? No. 57.
If Freiburg wins, no. Freiburg would have to. If Freiburg wins, Frankfurt falls to 4th, and if Dortmund wins, depending on goal difference, they would then pass Frankfurt. Frankfurt would fall all the way to 5th.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Because they do goal difference as the main tiebreaker or head-to-head goal difference. I think Frankfurt being in pole position, even though it's a game away from home, I think they draw Freiburg. Dortmund win, and Dortmund go up to 4th. Freiburg falls to 5th. Frankfurt holds steady in 3rd. I don't think they're going to let go of that. I think that'd be too...
Agree. For me personally...
it would be too... not clutch after such a clutch season to fall from 3rd to 5th in the last game, even if it's away from home. It's a great game though. It's a great matchup.
I fully agree. Yeah, I think it's too difficult for Frankfurt to lose it out.
Yeah,
but I could see, because it's Germany and just like how principled they are, I could really see that Frankfurt-Freiburg game being extremely fought out, even though in other leagues perhaps you would see a little bit more of a play to draw type game, because it kind of suits both of the teams a little bit more so than playing it all out and kind of waiting to see what happens on the other side. Whereas German football, at least for Frankfurt, it doesn't make sense to go all out because they already are in a position where a draw gets them over the line. But because Germany is such a principled like league culturally, there is no way that Frankfurt doesn't go for it, and that's why that match that's why that match is going to be so interesting.
Yep.
And the reason why I'm a little bit worried for Frankfurt is because when you don't have anything to lose, but you still play as if you do have something to lose, that's when things tend to get very tricky in sport. And so honestly, I could see things going in a way where Frankfurt lose that game, Freiburg go up, and Frankfurt still drop down, not necessarily to Champions League, but still to Europa League. I don't think Dortmund will make it, though, me personally. I don't think it'll work out.
So, wait, what's your final prediction?
Freiburg, Frankfurt, Dortmund.
Okay, got you. I'm going to go Frankfurt, Dortmund, Freiburg.
You want to give us a prediction, just in terms of a list?
Similarly, Frankfurt, Dortmund, Freiburg. Dortmund, they were in like 10th place like 1 week ago.
Sort up.
Like 6 days ago, they were in 10th place, and now they're in 5th. And now they have they're just, it's written in the stars for them.
For sure. To cover out the other big 3 in Germany, we have Bayern Munich with the celebrations. Thoughts on the celebrations? Thoughts on the
question?
Giant pints of beer.
A big social media question. Harry Kane won something.
Yeah.
But it's technically not a trophy.
Yes, that's what I said,
It's technically not a trophy.
Plate.
It's a plate.
It's a plate.
That
you eat rice
from
and
the English
beans.
language, does trophy mean the shape of the prize, or is it just the fact you have the prize?
Nah,
well,
bro.
it's not a trophy. It literally is a shield. It's a shield.
Can a shield be a trophy?
No.
Why? Is that true?
Because a square
Is the World Cup...
is not a rectangle.
No, but I don't think trophy's defined by the shape of it with the two handles.
Yes, it is.
I don't think the World Cup trophy's not even a trophy then.
Yeah.
You guys, if I pull up the definition of trophy right now, it's not going to be
please
the
do.
World Cup.
Please do. The Oxford English Dictionary
look.
of trophy.
The World
A
Cup
cup
is a
or
cup.
decorative. Wait. A cup or other decorative object awarded as a prize for a victory or success. It is
Yeah.
literally a trophy.
Is a shield decorative or is it for war?
Oh my! It is quite literally in the museum.
Is a shield decorative or is it for war?
It can be both.
Nah, it's always for war.
I agree.
It's always for war. While we see it not be used for war. Got you. All right, makes sense. So yeah,
The funny thing from the Bayern celebrations where I saw Olise get dunked.
The hair,
with
right?
The beard. And
I was thinking about the hair, bro.
I saw the tweets like, this is every like man with locks like
a
worst
fucking
nightmare.
Or braids too.
I was thinking about getting that beer smell out your hair after that.
Yeah.
He was pissed. He was not smiling after that.
Yeah. And I saw people commenting like, "Oh, he's just shy. And his eyes. I instantly went to the black hair experience of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, Alonso's on the way out.
Yeah.
I think he should get some sort of really nice send off because even if it was a short term success, what he did for that team,
Who?
Xabi Alonso. I'm
Oh yeah,
saying.
they did already.
They named
Oh,
a street
really?
after him.
And
They
he-
named it. I missed that.
and
My
they
algorithm did not
They
catch
named
that.
the street to the stadium after him.
Oh, phenomenal.
And
Okay,
after
good.
the game that they lost
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
Dortmund, he was like in the stands with the fans. They were like cheering for
Yeah.
him.
It was
They were
fire.
doing,
It was- they did a good job.
They did a
Fire.
whole send off
Yeah.
for him.
Wow, my algorithm's cooked.
So, bro.
Well,
3
congrats
weeks
to
ago,
Xabi.
3 weeks ago, I said you guys asked. We spoke about who should be
The next coach.
the next coach.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Cesc.
Really? Actually?
Yes, bro. Yes.
Wow, you
That's
called
fire.
that.
Yes, it's gonna be
fire.
Cesc.
That's a perfect. Another Spanish midfield World Cup. They were teammates on the Spanish squad. That's
Well,
a perfect replacement.
All right, let me not say it's gonna be, but like
It looks like it could be. Yeah.
the reports are coming out that he's been speaking to
Yeah.
like
In the running.
so. Potentially, if Leverkusen were to bring in a new manager,
Yeah.
I think it makes a whole lot of sense to go for another Spanish midfield maestro, someone who
Same generation, too.
Right now in Italy, what Cesc has been able to do, what Fabregas has been able to do with Como, in terms of what's it called? It's a very American thing, like the team that's doing the best within a specific period. What is it called? It's like a specific type of American stat. It happens in basketball and football.
The front runner?
Nah, it's like a leaderboard. It's not a front. It's a
Leaderboard, like since the start of the new year, sort of thing.
Nah, what is it called?
Is it a person or
Power
a team
ranking?
thing? Yeah, power ranking.
Nah, what is it? It's not just power. It's like there's a thing for it.
Brain fart.
But what are you like? What leading in what?
Yeah, you're not explaining at all.
Like, it's always kind of random. I've never fully understood it. It's
Yeah.
like teams that have the most wins over a specific period of time.
I think it's power ranking.
Yeah, or since,
There's a thing for
or
it.
just a since. There's probably a phrase
Anyway.
that they use on SportsCenter.
Anyway, as of right now, in terms of Europe's top 5 leagues, Como have won 7 straight. Right? It's either 7 straight
Yeah.
or Como have won 6 straight. So right now, Como is the team in the top 5 leagues that has the most wins in a row, and they're doing the best. Kind of like in terms of power rankings, they're number 1.
Yeah.
So it really
Just
shows that
current form,
Cesc in current form, yeah. So it really shows that Cesc is a manager that can kind of take a team that doesn't even necessarily have all the top pieces and really put together a string of incredible wins. I think in terms of what Leverkusen has built with Xabi Alonso, it's the perfect strategy to bring in a manager similar to Xabi Alonso in terms of mentality, because he's another kind of Spanish midfielder that saw the game from a very specific way, from a very specific era, from a very specific philosophy of understanding the sport. And so I think a lot of times what teams do when they have a manager that was as instrumental is that they can kind of tend to move away from that philosophy, and that culture shock can kind of be very detrimental. Bringing in a manager that is very similar to Xabi Alonso is the perfect strategy. So personally, as someone just speaking and kind of giving my opinion on this, I really think that Fabregas makes a lot of sense.
I think it'll help keep a lot of their talent too.
I agree.
You know what I mean? They watched him win the World Cup, win the Euros,
Yes.
win all these
Very
things with Barcelona,
respectable
same with
figure.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I think it'll
Exactly.
get the same level of respect as Xabi.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's a really, and if he can do that with Nico Paz, imagine Florian Wirtz, Frimpong, and all those guys. So 100%.
This is my papa.
You know what I'm saying? You wanted to talk about that, right?
There's not much to say. That shit was bad for
Holding
you.
hands and everything.
This is my papa.
Yeah. That's some jokes.
And then lastly, in terms of Bundesliga stuff, I'm not sure if you guys saw, but one of Germany's most storied clubs is now back in the Bundesliga, HSV Hamburg. So the scenes were incredible. Essentially, they almost flipped the roles of what should normally occur in a stadium. When Hamburg won, the fans rushed onto the field and essentially took over the field.
Yeah.
So the players had to go up into the stands.
Yeah.
And so the final moments, so the moments after the match were the players speaking to the fans from the stands with the players, the players were up in the stands and all the fans were in the stadium. And so the players were speaking down to the fans. So beautiful image. And also, Hamburg fans, and I understand that we have to be a little bit careful about how we speak about this, but when Hamburg fans went onto the field, a lot of them took the grass from the field. And so the images after the game show a Hamburg field that has been,
destroyed.
Destroyed is a strong word, I would say. Has been memorialized by fans.
Redecorated.
Redecorated, I would agree is the right term, redecorated. But it's really cool because it shows that, Hamburg has struggled for a while. They're a serious German club. They're a club
they used to be up there.
That's a club that's won the league. They've competed in Europe for many years. I think it's been at least over 30 years that Hamburg has not been in the Bundesliga.
Did they have Çalhanoğlu?
No, but they had Huntelaar. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, of course. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Yeah,
serious player. Hamburg now returned to the Bundesliga, which gives German football, if St. Pauli stay up, another rivalry, which is a rivalry that is like one of the craziest. I hope I get to go to one of these games. It's one of the craziest rivalries in European soccer. But my question to you guys is, when you guys see celebrations like this, what does it kind of mean to you guys as Americans? I know you can speak to it as kind of a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
But like when fans really show that insane like kind of burst of emotion after finally achieving promotion after so long, especially when you're a club that has that much history, how do you kind of view it as an outsider, as an American, like seeing something like that?
Yeah, I think we talked earlier about like the Knicks being a representation of New York City. I feel like that shows that Hamburg SV is a representation of their city, and that's why it means so much for them to get that promotion. You know what I mean? It's something that is deeply tied to their heritage, how they grew up, their grandfathers, grandmothers, et cetera, et cetera. So it really runs through them in a different way than just being a fan of a team. It's like being a human being from a city, from a certain culture. So I think that's why it runs so deep. Cool. Episode 84. Love y'all.
Peace.